Hello, good evening, and welcome to this edition of News Tonight with me, Bernice, Abu-Baidoo Lansa. We are coming to you live from our studios at the Platinum Place here in Accra. Let's take a look at our headlines. Now, as Gender Minister works with police to arrest KNUST SHS Assistant Headmaster in scandalous fondling video, another SHS sex video pops up barely a week after the former. Time to go extra on cracking the whip on sexual teacher-student relations. We'll have more on this bulletin. Also, minority in Parliament demands account on 10,000 cedi daily fine imposed on DSTV by the Communications Minister, following what seems to be an agreement on new package regime by the broadcaster. And President Mahama directs Cybersecurity Authority to intensify crackdown on online romance scams and hate speech on social media. And much later, South African political activist Julius Malema found guilty of breaking firearm laws in a 2018 incident. I'll be sharing details of these headlines and some other stories on this bulletin. Please stay with me. I'm grateful for your time this evening, and tonight we start off on a rather disturbing story that has trended online for some days. And the Ministry for Gender, Children and Social Protection says it's working closely with the police to arrest the assistant headmaster of the KNUST SHS. He was seen touching the breast of a student who was uniformed and was dismissed by the GES later. Well, the Gender Minister, Dr. Agnes Namu-Molati, says a dismissal is not enough. She spoke when the Vice President visited her ministry.
The report, Your Excellency, of a 13-year-old girl with the assistant headmaster. So even though GES through the school dismissed or suspended the head, we are collaborating with the police to effect the arrest of the man, the perpetrator. So these are some of the things, the challenges. But the good thing is that because there is more awareness of what abuse is, everyone, one way or the other, is becoming each other's neighbor. And so in the name of good neighborliness, you see people watching over their neighbor's household to report or video abuse cases. And so it puts the ministry and its stakeholders on its toe to get most of these issues resolved. And so in our 16 days of activism, we'll use the month to highlight some of these issues, hold more community engagements for the general public to understand and know what abuse is.
Let's stay a while on this subject matter, because barely a week after we were all shaken by that video involving the assistant headmaster of the KNUST SHS, another video has popped up. This time, it allegedly involves a teacher and a female student from Okajakrom Senior High School in the OT region. The two are seen in a very compromising act in what appears to be an office. The Gender Minister has been speaking about this once again, and she took the opportunity to advocate and ask people to report abuse and not to make excuses for abusers.
Condemn it, in fact, without any excuse to say that maybe these were the conditions or something like that. We condemn the act. But for us, it is not just for us to condemn it. Our mandate, per our positioning, is not just to come out to condemn it, but to take steps to redress whatever it is that is happening. So we go beyond condemning it. We don't even even have an option. We don't have an option but to ensure that the children and every victim is safe and secured in this country and perpetrators are brought to book. Even if you are underage and you offer yourself to a man and the man takes advantage of you, if you are the one who even went there, the law says that once you are underage, you should be protected, and that is all we do. As to whether the girl took the video or went there, don't let us justify abuse and all of these things going on. Sexual harassment and abuse is abuse and is sexual harassment. Don't make excuses for it, and let us be in awareness so that we can support people and protect them from being victimized and stigmatized, so that people will not be afraid to report. Thank you.
That's the Gender Minister, Dr. Agnes Namamulata. We'll stay a while on this issue. Thankfully, we've been joined by the PRO of the Ghana Education Service. I'm grateful for your time, Mr. Fengi. There's a latest video that has surfaced online. Has it been brought to the attention of the GES? Hello, Mr. Fengi. Hello?
Hello.
Right.
Yes.
Grateful for your time this evening. And I was asking whether the GES has seen or has received any complaint about the latest video we are told is from GHOne SHS Indioti region involving a teacher and a student in a very compromising sexual act.
Indeed, let me thank you for the opportunity and emphasize that when such serious issues come up, we don't even wait for someone to report to us. We rather go into it and investigate, understand the issues, and dish out deserving punishment as per the Code of Conduct of the Ghana Education Service. So just as we did with the KNUST Senior High School, which also came up just in the course of this week, and we have had to remove the assistant academic head so that smooth investigations would go on. We have done same with the report from GHOne Senior High School, where we have established that the individual involved is actually a teacher in the school. In fact, the understanding we have had so far is that he's a science teacher and the head of science department, and also the SLC patron of the school. And so we are not taking these matters lightly at all. We have first interdicted, removed him, and prohibited him from stepping foot on the premises of the school because we believe in objective investigations, and we believe that for a person of interest, if you allow them to still occupy their office or you allow them to still access the premises of the school, the possibility of them or the temptation to alter documents, to influence the process, to manipulate things is high. And
right.
So we have first removed him, and then investigations have also started. And we hope that in a couple of weeks we will finalize investigations and move through the Code of Conduct and then give out the deserving punishment that they would deserve.
Right. Mr. Fengi, I'm particularly concerned about the young girls involved in this, seeing that their images have also been exposed. What kind of psychological support is being given these girls?
Indeed, what happens is that for young girls or our young girls who find themselves in such situations, the first approach is that we consider them as victims of the circumstance. So all the approach we give them or all the interventions we give them from the orientation that these are victims of the circumstance. I'm emphasizing on this because we have heard and people seem to be adults, seem to be mentors.
Even legislators.
Yes, making the claim as though, because there seems to be consensus or because to them, the video they watched, the girls had actually agreed, so they don't seem to see anything wrong with what's happening.
Right.
Sorry
if it appears I'm rushing you, but I'd like for you to tell me in practical terms what kind of support you're offering these girls.
So what happens first is that we have a counseling unit that is in charge. So the school has a counseling coordinator, the district has a counseling coordinator that is in charge of these.
So in these two cases, the girls have been counseled. Are they still in the school communities?
Yes. So what happens is that indeed it is these investigations that we have already started that will come out with the necessary recommendations. Let me emphasize that the girl is a final year student who has completed school and has left the premises.
Which of the girls are you talking about? The KNUST or the GHOne situation?
Both of them.
So they've left. So they've left the school, right? Because there are also fears of victimization from other teachers. But quickly though, before you go, Mr. Fenyi, I first believes that these teachers must not only be dismissed and that their licenses must be revoked. Your quick thoughts on that as we wrap up the conversation.
Indeed, normally, so for us as Ghana Education Service, when we establish these cases very well, what we do is that we cannot work with people with such weak moral standards. So we dismiss them. And then if the ladies involved are minors, then the police and the legal processes also kick in. So it is not, for us as Ghana Education Service, we have code of conduct that we work
right,
with.
You dismiss them. The argument is you dismiss them, they can go and work elsewhere. So if you revoke their licenses, then they can't practice as teachers at all.
Yes, in fact, the dismissal implies that they are not able to teach anywhere.
Right.
Okay. In the country. And then let me add finally that we would encourage parents that they give us support as well in fighting against situations like this. Our young girls, and even the boys, right, grow up in our homes, and we expect that our parents would offer the needed guidance. Of course, the educational institutions will do that, but we expect our parents to also come in, support our efforts, support our fight against such situations like that, so that it will be a comprehensive fight against some of the teachers, some of our staff who pray against these innocent young ones.
Right. Mr. Fenyi, I'm grateful for your time, and we'll definitely continue this conversation, a more extended one much later, because we understand that the GES has a sexual harassment policy that has been rolled out to empower and equip young people in schools against abuse. But you just heard the PRO of the Ghana Education Service, Daniel Fenyi, there, bringing us up to speed on what's been done in the KNUST and the GHOne instances. Now you know, here on GHOne, you heard that with that GHOne incident, the teacher has been identified and interdicted as well. But away from that, Chief Justice nominee Justice Paul Bafo-Boni has urged members of the judiciary, especially the bench, to approach prosecution of cases involving illegal mining and drug abuse with the urgency required. According to him, decisions of the court ought to ensure that no one is immune from justice, while assuring that specialized courts will be revised to deal with issues of galamsey and drug abuse. He said this at the opening of a 2-day judges conference currently ongoing in Accra. EIB Legal Affairs correspondent Mutala Inusa has more.
The 2025 Annual Conference of Association of Magistrates and Judges is currently underway. The 2-day program is focused on leveraging on technology to enhance justice delivery in Ghana. The acting Chief Justice, Justice Paul Bafo-Boni, in his remarks, spoke about the issue of galamsey and how drug abuse is militating against the youth, and stated clearly measures that members of the bench should take in helping fight against this menace.
As members of the judiciary, we are not policy makers, and we do not wield the enforcement powers of the executive. Yet our constitutional role is neither passive nor peripheral. We are the guardians of justice, custodians of the law, and interpreters of the nation's conscience. So our responsibilities in confronting these challenges include upholding the law. We must ensure that prosecutions related to illegal mining and drug trafficking and abuse are handled with seriousness, impartiality, and urgency.
The president of the Association of Magistrates and Judges, Justice Henry Anthony Kofi, expressed concerns about the conditions of service of members of the bench or the service.
It suffices to say that facilities for the performance of functions of the judiciary are released, given to us as if we don't deserve it. Talking about particularly allowances are not released, subvention is not released, even when the thing has been approved. Because that is what Parliament constitutionally is supposed to do.
The Attorney General, Dr. Dominic Ayini, assured members of the judiciary that their concerns will be taken care of by government.
I have noted down the challenges confronting the judiciary. When I was Deputy Attorney General, I made it a point not to allow Her Ladyship, the Chief Justice Georgina Wood, or the Judicial Secretary to make contact with the executive branch of government. I took up all those problems and walked directly to the Ministry of Finance to see to it that things are done. And that is the attitude that I bring again to this office.
On the issue of technology, the national president of the Ghana Bar Association, Mrs. Efwagati, advocated for the introduction of artificial intelligence within the judiciary.
Whilst applauding the e-justice system, the virtual courts, and other interventions made by virtue of technology, the bar requested that technology be utilized to simplify the assignment of cases and the automatic recording of court proceedings to cut down on the time, the workload of the scopists, and expedite the production of the proceedings.
The acting director of the Ghana School of Law, Professor Raymond Atiguba, also has this to say about how technology could be leveraged or could be introduced into the justice delivery system.
Let us remember that sometimes responding to change involves stepping back, not moving forward. For example, the use of technology must start from the faculties if justice delivery is to be hinged on it. And the use of technology must animate the entire body of court rules, not be overlaid on it.
At the end of the conference, the association is expected to elect new leaders to lead the course of the association. But this conference also ensured that some persons who served diligently within the association were rewarded upon their retirement. From the Labadi Beach Hotel here in Accra, Mutala Inusa, GHOne.
And in our studios at Ridge, I am Bernice Abu-Baidoo Lansa. On Insight tonight, we'll be talking about the DSTV pricing saga and engage an official from MultiChoice Ghana. You don't want to miss that right after this.
Kwame and his uncle are almost here.
Wait a minute. This one too, your friend Kwame.
Thank you for staying on News Tonight. On Insight, we're focusing on the DSTV pricing controversy. Now, MultiChoice Ghana, operators of DSTV, has apologized for a post on its FAQ page, that's the frequently asked questions section on their website. And in a piece that has gone viral, they stated that enhanced packages, as announced by the communications minister, are temporary. Now, this document that they now say is erroneous indicated that packages are valid from October to December this year. Over about 90 days, the communications minister in MultiChoice Ghana have been engaged in a war of words over subscription price of DSTV in Ghana. While the minister insisted on a price reduction and nothing less due to stable exchange rates and improved living conditions, management of MultiChoice Ghana came out to say it had not agreed as at then to a price reduction. But on Monday, September 29, 2025, the communications minister, Samuel George, at a press briefing, announced a revised subscription package.
My letter to them, I gave them scenarios from 7 markets that DSTV is operating in. The same content in the premium bouquet that is offered to Ghanaians for $83 equivalent is offered to Nigerians for $29 equivalent. How can anyone explain this price disparity to me? Enough of the mistreatment of the Ghanaian consumer. They either comply with the reduction, because in Nigeria, in the same time frame that they say the Ghanaian cedi has depreciated by 240%, the Nigerian naira has depreciated by 409%. If Nigerians are paying equivalent of $29, DSTV must charge same here in Ghana, or we will suspend their broadcasting license effective 7th of August 2025.
So that's the communications minister there. Now, after that, a certain document surfaced online, and it had responses to frequently asked questions, and one of them had to do with the minister's announcement about the package, the value addition package that he had managed to agree or get MultiChoice Ghana to agree to. Amongst the many things, the FAQ stated that it was a promotion running from October this year to December. That's 3 months. Now, MultiChoice Ghana released a statement apologizing for what it refers to as the erroneous impression created by that FAQ that found its way online. And let me bring you details of that statement. Now, portions of it says that we fully support the joint media statement that was issued by the Honorable Minister, Honorable Samuel Nati George, and implementation of same has already commenced. Now, it continues to say, as contained in the said joint media statement regarding the value offering, the committee will reconvene in 3 months to evaluate the impact of this initiative. This will be a periodic exercise. Now, statement concludes by saying there is no restriction on a subscriber's choice of a bouquet. This offer is available to both existing, returning, and new customers from 1st October 2025. They end by saying that we apologize for any inconvenience the FAQs may have caused. Well, we were hoping to speak to MultiChoice Ghana. I have a number of questions to ask, but I'm being told that can happen at least today. Meanwhile, the minority in Parliament is demanding an immediate account of all monies collected since the 10,000 cedi fine was imposed on DSTV. Ranking member in the Communications Committee of Parliament, Matthew Nyendam, signed a statement that was released earlier today. And they had a couple of demands. And hopefully he'll be joining me online for a quick conversation on this. But a couple of you have also been sharing your thoughts on social media. While some of you believe that this is a good deal for the Ghanaian people, others say it falls short of the minister's promise, and so you're basically not satisfied with the agreements reached by the Communications Ministry and Multi-Choice Ghana. But let me bring you the other demands of the minority. Now, they say the minister should inform every Ghanaian of his reason for changing his initial stance on not accepting any upgrade, but price reduction of not less than 30%. Now, they say regarding his insult on the minority, we will not request an apology from him because it is a trait that is too expensive for him to afford. We reiterate that the minority members on the committee are dedicated professionals who take their responsibility seriously and are always available for scheduled meetings. And this particular portion of the statement is in response to a statement by the minister on another media platform about the availability of minority members on the committee to meet over this particular matter. And sincere apologies, we're still trying to reach Mr. Matthew Nyendam, who is a ranking member on the Committee on Information and Communication. Hopefully, if we get him, we will bring you his thoughts before the news ends. For now, that'll be all for Insight. Let's talk about tourism, because it's one of the world's biggest industries, driving over 10% of global GDP. In Africa, Kenya is famous for its safari destinations. But thankfully, Ghana is beginning to carve its own niche. In the Bono region, for example, natural tourism is emerging as a powerful tool for job creation, growth, and sustainability.
The Bono region, home to over 1 million people, is fast emerging as a hub for natural tourism. Surrounded by diverse natural and cultural attractions, the region boasts a wide array of tourism potential, from scenic landscapes and wildlife to historical sites and cultural festivals. Despite its many treasures, only a few of the many beautiful gifts from nature have been developed to generate revenue for the region. Attractions like the Kentampo waterfalls continue to draw visitors. In just the first quarter of 2024, more than 8,200 tourists visited the site, generating over 100,000 cedis in revenue. At the World Tourism Day celebration in the Bono region, the Ghana Tourism Authority placed a spotlight on natural tourism as a key driver of growth.
The reason why we are here is to see the ostriches. There are so many ostriches farms dotted around the Bono region. We have Grassidan Monkey Sanctuary, and we also have a canopy walkway. So we have so many things in the region, but we want to take you to other wild animals you can also still feel. The ostrich is one of the fastest running birds, and you can also sit on it, and it will run with you.
The event, held at the Cantro Ostrich Farm, brought together students, journalists, and officials for guided tours showcasing the region's natural resources.
I've seen an ostrich physically with my real eyes. And so there are other places in your recreation. Don't just sit in Accra, don't just sit in Kumasi, don't just sit in Tamale, any other place. Don't just sit anywhere. You just have a sight of something which you haven't seen before.
Tour guides have been explaining the vision and challenges of running the farm.
The motive is to create tourist attraction and make natural things visible to people.
Excited head teacher of Glory Daycare Preparatory School and students shared their experience.
And this is the first time of seeing a turtle. So I've not seen some before. But my school has come here before, but this is the first time of coming here.
Joining them?
Yeah, joining them.
What you visited today?
This year, the ostrich, no, I've learned some in books, but now I've seen it with my naked eye. So I know how they behave and then how they are doing.
With proper investments in ecotourism and community-based projects, The Bono region could become one of Ghana's strongest natural tourism destinations.
Now, justice caught up with two men in the Northeast region after the Nalerigu Circuit Court handed them stiff sentences for trafficking over 1,000 boxes of the restricted drug tramadol. The verdict brings closure to a case that shocked the region with the scale of the illegal haul.
From a September 18 police and narco operation at Benyeri near Nalerigu, where officers intercepted 1,195 boxes of tramadol hydrochloride, 120 mg, popularly called Red. On September 19, the suspects were remanded along with 4 others. A week later, on their reappearance, Memuni Idrisu and Alhassan Brahima pleaded guilty to conspiracy and unlawful possession. Investigations revealed they concealed more than 4,400 packs of tramadol hidden inside 25 5-liter yellow gallons. The court, presided over by Justice Francis Asobaire, sentenced each of them to 10 years in prison on each count, along with a fine of 5,000 penalty units, equivalent to 60,000 cedis. Failure to pay the fine will attract another 10 years behind bars. The other 4 accused persons were discharged for want of evidence. With sentencing complete, the 2 convicts have already been transferred to Gambaga local prison to begin their terms. Police, meanwhile, praised the support of residents, particularly the Nalerigu Youth Association, in ensuring the success of the operation. They have also cautioned others in the illicit drug trade to desist, or offenders will face the full rigors of the law.
Now, Vice President Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman has highlighted the importance of compassion and collective responsibility in shaping Ghana's social protection systems. Speaking during a working visit to the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection, where she launched this year's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, Professor Opoku-Agyeman commended the ministry for securing cabinet approval for a number of key policies: the National Gender Policy, the Early Childhood Care Framework, the Domestic Violence Policy, and the landmark Social Protection Act. Well, turning to health, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman highlighted the launch of Breast Cancer Awareness Month as an opportunity for the society to show empathy and understanding.
Today is a call to action to learn to take care of our people who are in all kinds of situations, including those who are differently abled. That is how they are. And we need to look at them as God's special gifts to us. Today is also important for older persons. We know what they have done for this country. I don't think anyone was born age 90. It's a process. They play their roles, and many have. And it is on their shoulders that today we rise. What we can do is to ensure that at the very least we are showing them respect. We are also showing them support. We are showing them understanding. We've all been advised about checking early detection. We have been told that it helps, so that we try to catch early, we treat right, and that we survive it. It's very, very important. So there's a time to call to all of us, our health professionals, our societies, our families. Sometimes illness brings unnecessary stigma, as if the person decided to be sick.
You're watching News Tonight with me, Bernice, Abu-Baidoo Lancer. Now, the scars of the Benyeri deadly clashes are still raw, yet another land battle looms in the Savannah region. The Wasipe Traditional Council is sounding the alarm that fraudulent claims to over 1 million acres of land threaten to destabilize the North Gonja district once again. There's more in this report.
Barely weeks after violent clashes in Benyeri that claimed lives and left dozens displaced, another land dispute has surfaced in the Savannah region, this time involving the Wasipe Traditional Council. Wasipe leaders allege that Over 1,000 acres of land have been unlawfully mapped and registered under the name of a group calling itself the Tampuma Traditional Council. The council says this attempt to alter boundaries and claim paramountcy status has no business in history or custom and violates Ghana's land governance systems.
There are only 6 recognized traditional councils in the Savannah Regional House of Chiefs, and for that matter, the National House of Chiefs. Waspe Traditional Council falls squarely under the allodial ownership of His Majesty, the Yagonra, King and Overlord of the Gonja Kingdom. No group, no settler community, and no individual has the right to redraw traditional boundaries or challenge legitimate ownership through clandestine or unlawful means.
The council's petition to Lands and Natural Resources Minister Emmanuel Amakofi-Boa outlines 5 urgent demands. Key among them is halting land registration processes, probing the disputed cadastral survey, and reinforcing the authority of recognized custodians under the Gonja Kingdom. Here is Chief of Tanda, Alhaji Mohammed Amin.
We caution that failure to act appropriately may force us to pursue legal action in appropriate law courts. Traditional processes as enshrined in our customary institutions, the application of minimum force.
Yeah, that's right. The Wasipe Traditional Council insists that Tampumes, historically absorbed in the Gonja Kingdom under Indiura Jakba, cannot claim allodial ownership. Analysts warn that the Gbinyiri conflict, which stemmed from unresolved land tensions, is a stark reminder of how easily such disputes can escalate into violence. They fear that, without decisive government intervention, history could repeat itself with dire consequences. For now, the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources are yet to respond, leaving residents and observers uneasy about the possibility of another flashpoint in the Savannah region.
Let's stay a while with the Gbinyiri conflict, because after the violent clashes shook the community, a youth-led movement has stepped forward with a message of healing and solidarity. The Heart of Gonja Savior mission is to restore dignity and hope to victims of the conflict.
The violent clashes in Gbinyiri last August claimed over 30 lives and left at least 13 people, including the Gbinyura and Bundura, injured, displaced and traumatized over 40,000. Until now, support for them had been painfully scanty. However, the Heart of Gonja, working in partnership with Yabonbe Kaibom and the Solar Youth Network, launched an initiative to provide relief and mobilize broader support for the victims. President of the Hearts of Gonja, Yahaya Abdul Razak, invoked the resilience of the Gonja Kingdom, reminding them of its proud history of solidarity and compassion.
In a situation like this, when our brothers are in this crisis, at least that alone touches the heart of Gonja, and then the collaborated associations that keep on mincing off. And then we find it necessary, the little that we can also do. Then we call those our brothers that have suffered it. And like the saying always goes, that great minds things alike.
The group emphasized that their efforts are only the beginning and called on benevolent associations, philanthropists, and individuals to partner with them to rebuild hope in Gbinyiri.
So I believe that any donation or any sitting of this kind, anytime, will all come on board. And I believe that with this sitting alone, they themselves will be motivated to participate the next time.
For the victims, the initiative goes beyond just aid, but healing after conflict is possible when compassion leads the way. It is a reminder that they are not forgotten and the spirit of Gonja unity still burns bright.
You're watching News Tonight with me, Bernice Abu-Baidoo Lansa. I've got business news updates shortly. Do stay.
The Business Brief is brought to you by CompuGhana, passion for technology.
I've got some news that may excite you. The operation of rail passenger transport across Ghana has officially reopened. Now, the line which runs from the Tema Harbour through to Ashaman Bediako, ending at Afienya, reported a smooth operation for day one. EIB Network's Tema regional correspondent Joseph Atarika reports.
The Ghana Railway Development Company has officially commenced its passenger commercial transports with Tema Harbour as its initial loading routes that connect train stops within the eastern stretch of Greater Accra. Passengers are projecting a relief from the traffic situations associated with commuting by roads, as the rail is noted for its safe and traffic-free transports into the mix. Engineer Anthony Kojo-Wusu, a civil engineer with the Ghana Railway Development Authority, confirmed that the transport lines, which were restored on Tuesday, has, as of the time of filing this report, has seen no incident. Anthony Kojo-Wusu further said the authority had undertook several sensitization outreach programs for residents living along the railway lines to ensure safe practice.
People are enjoying, like they are seeing the train coming in, they are so excited. When we talk of train, safety comes first, you get it. Yeah, so before even we ran this train, we did a simulation that we have to go and talk to people, not to be walking on the track, which is not safe. Yeah, and as operation began today, everything is moving on smooth. Yes, everybody's paying to the safety measures, the protocols that we need to use. Yeah, so far so good, everything is fine.
Speaking to the news team, he noted that although the routes of operations are from the Tema main harbour to Afienya, it will gradually be extending its routes to Pong, through to the Adome Bridge and to Impakadan over time.
Now, President John Dramani Mahama has directed the Cybersecurity Authority to intensify its crackdown on online romance scams and the rising tide of hate speech on social media. Launching the 2025 National Cybersecurity Awareness Campaign in Accra, he warned that cyber fraud and online commentary that fuels hate speech not only drain millions of cedis but also risk fueling ethnic divisions and undermine national security. He also issued a stern warning to cyber criminals in Ghana, declaring that offenders will be extradited to face trial and punished under the law. Presidential Affairs correspondent Abdul Hanan Adam reports.
President Mahama's directive to the Cybersecurity Authority and other state agencies comes against the backdrop of cybercrime emerging as Ghana's fastest growing security threat, with state security data revealing staggering losses of 23.3 million Ghana cedis in 2024 and 14.9 million Ghana cedis in the first half of 2025 alone. Credit card fraud and romance scams remains the most prevalent schemes, undermining public trust and straining the country's digital ecosystem. In his keynote address at the launch of the 2025 National Cybersecurity Awareness Campaign in Accra, President Mahama said Ghana will deepen collaboration with international agencies to track down perpetrators of cybercrime, stressing that offenders will face the full rigors of the law, including extradition.
Recently, we've been collaborating with our international partners when evidence is gathered and it's proven that people are involved in romance scams. Using our extradition treaties, we ship the culprits back. And so we'll continue to collaborate with all our global partners. Anybody involved in romance scams, whether you are a foreigner or you are a Ghanaian citizen, we will hand you over to be tried and punished accordingly. There are also inside jobs. Some people are employed within financial institutions and they manage, because they are in there, to be able to take advantage of the system. And so the Bank of Ghana and the cybersecurity agencies have arrested a few such, and punishment is normally very swift.
And Ghana has recorded single-digit inflation for the first time in 4 years, with the national rate dropping to 9.4% in September. The Ghana Statistical Service announced this on Tuesday, noting that the figure marks a significant improvement from the 11.5% recorded in August 2021. The decline was largely driven by ease in food prices, with food inflation slowing to 11% compared to 14.8% a month earlier. Non-food inflation also slipped to 8.2% from 8.7%. The consistent fall in prices over the past 9 months likely means that government has already achieved its end-of-year target. Here's government statistician Dr. Al-Hassan Idrisu addressing the media.
This is what I referred earlier to as the disinflation process. You still have inflation being positive, but it is declining over time. If you check the month-on-month, you see that there are swings. So in other words, even though in September, the year-on-year posted 9.4, but also the month-on-month posted 9.4 in September, which was lower than the previous month. But the month-on-month posted a positive of 0.9, meaning that general price level is increasing between August and September. So we need to look at that in context. Now, let's break down the national inflation figure of 9.4% into the usual components. Let's start with food. Food inflation is at 11%, down from 14.8% in August, a drop by 3.8 percentage points. The drop in food inflation is a welcome relief for many households, as food accounts for the largest share of spending among the 13 divisions that we have.
And that'll be all for Business News, your news tonight. Up next is Sports Updates with Monica Bukari.
The Business Brief was brought to you by CompuGhana, passion for technology.
Uncle are almost here.
Wait a minute. This one too, your friend Kwame.
Wait, Kwame. As in the same Kwame again?
Yes, mommy.
I'm the second coming. Into all this.
Many thanks for joining me here on Sports Brief. I am Monica Bukari. Now, Ghana will begin the countdown to the Glasgow 2026 Commonwealth Games in Accra this Friday as the Cairns baton relay arrives in the country. The celebration will begin on October 3 with a grand flag-off ceremony at the Flagstaff House, where His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama will officially launch the relay. The baton will then parade through the principal streets of Accra. On Saturday, October 4, the relay continues from East Legon through to Ayimensa to the forecourt of Ibriman Hennett's Palace. Now on Sunday, October 5, a cleanup exercise at the Independence Square Beach. The excitement of the activities will climax on Tuesday, October 7, with a thrilling sports event at the Air Force Base. The program will bring together students from Osu Menhian Basic School, Accra High School, and others, uniting athletes. Ghana Olympic Committee and Commonwealth Sports Ghana are then calling on the public to come out in their numbers, support the Team Ghana, and be a part of the unforgettable experience. Now, the Black Stars, according to the Ghana Football Association, will open camp in Morocco ahead of their match day 9 games against the Central African Republic and the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers. The team was expected to open camp in Accra ahead of the game, but it will pitch camp in Morocco on Sunday, October 5. The decision, according to the GFA, is because there is not enough time to prepare for the game since the players will be in action for their respective clubs over the weekend. Head coach Utuado, per EIB Sports Inquiries, has submitted and defended his squad, which will be announced this week. After the game against Central African Republic, the Black Stars will return home to wrap up their qualifiers against Comoros at the Accra Sports Stadium on Sunday, October 12. Ghana sits top of Group I with 19 points and will need a win or a draw to seal their 5th Mundial qualification. Meanwhile, the venue for the game against Central African Republic in Morocco has also been changed by FIFA and will now be staged at the Stade d'Honneur de Martinez, still in Morocco, on Wednesday, October 8. Now, on the international front, Jude Bellingham has been named the 2024-25 England's Men's Senior Player of the Year connected. The Real Madrid and Three Lions midfielder was voted by supporters as the standout male player across last season, head of Declan Rice in second spot and Harry Kane in the third. This is the first time that Bellingham has received the award, and he becomes the only second player to clinch the award while playing for a non-English club after Bayern Munich's Owen Hargreaves in 2006. The 22-year-old made 8 appearances across the course of the campaign as the Three Lions won promotion in the UEFA Nations League under interim head coach Lee Carsley last autumn, before they kicked off their European qualifiers for the FIFA 2026 World Cup under new head coach Thomas Tuchel in March and June. He scored in the game against Greece at Wembley last October and was also named as player November. Meanwhile, it is a 1-0 game against PSG with Barcelona. That ends the sports here. My name is Monica Bukari. Stay tuned. We have GHOne up next.
On GHOne tonight, former director of the National Film Authority and founder of the Black Star International Film Festival, Juliet Yasanto Asante, is urging government to pass a creative tax incentive bill. She believes it's essential for attracting significant investment into Ghana's film industry. According to her, implementing these incentives will help position Ghana as a preferred destination for film production and facilitates the transfer of valuable skills to local filmmakers. She made this appeal during the 10th anniversary celebration of the Black Star International Film Festival in Accra.
The 10th anniversary edition of the Black Star International Film Festival. Marketers, producers, students, directors, and financiers to collaborate on ways to enhance Africa's film industry. This year, 27 films from various countries were screened, selected from a total of 127 submissions. During a seminar, participants discussed strategies aimed at ensuring that at least 10% of the Pan-African films showcased across the continent comes from West Africa. In an exclusive interview with Noah Nash, Juliet Asante emphasized that addressing the funding gap in Ghana's film industry requires deliberate action on tax policy, starting with the passage of a creative tax incentive bill by Parliament.
High network people need to invest in the space, but they need to invest understanding that this is not charity, this is a business. And filmmakers also have to learn how to speak the investment language. So I think that's where perhaps we need to be more intentional and have a little more education. But of course, we can't run away from the fact that governments also have to invest in the space. We need a tax incentive. I mean, as we speak, just before I left office with the National Film Authority, we worked on a tax incentive document that was just about to go to Parliament. And one of the things we are hoping is that document or that policy will move forward and Ghana will come to have a tax incentive. And that's one of the ways that we can attract some of the big projects.
I'm grateful for your time on the international front. South African opposition leader Julius Malema has been found guilty of breaking firearm laws in 2018. You can get more details of that on starfm.com.gh. I'm Bernice. Abu-Baidoo lines are produced by Eko Boachi this evening. From the entire team, we wish you a very good evening. Thanks for your company once again.